guys, it will shock you to know that a major general died in the hands of bandits. Can you imagine? He was, like you know now, these guys picked him up. Possibly they dealt with him to the point that he had to give up. This is the situation in Nigeria. A retired army general died at the hands of these bad guys inside the bush, in their den. Nigerian military, we don't know what are you people up to. You can imagine if it was to be Tinubu's son or Tinubu's father or Tinubu's child that was taken by these bad guys into the bush. Guess what? The army will ransack everywhere to release that person. But because it's a retired army general, the person had to die at the hands of his enemies. Can you imagine? I'm just going to allow you to take a look at how Arise Television has analyzed this news. It's really so sad that Nigerians keep going through a lot because of insecurity. You must have seen where Wike is dancing because he renovated an event center in Abuja and people are, he was dancing. Tinubu was busy shaking his hand. This is coming at a time when a video was trending yesterday where a guy picked up people who had accidents on the road, took them to the Abuja FCT medical center. Guess what? The people working there refused to touch those victims of accidents. Guess what their reasons is, or their reasons are? One of the reasons is that they don't have gloves. These plastic gloves you put on your head as a medical personnel. They said they don't have gloves in Abuja, in the FCT medical center. And the guy was so angry. This guy who used his car to picked up victims of accidents and brought them to the hospital, only to find out that they don't have gloves to touch those patients. The patients were in his car. He told them, bring out the patient. They said they don't have gloves to bring out those people. They were in critical situation. And this guy was fuming that if these people die here, they had accident, I left where I was going, I brought them here, and you are telling me you don't have gloves while Tinubu and Wike are busy celebrating that they are doing great things. They are just doing great things for themselves. Nigeria is working for politicians, not for Nigerians. And now this headline is saying a retired army general died at the hands of the bad guys into the bushes when he was kidnapped. So guys, Nigeria is not working. And before I let you watch this video, the Ghana cedi, the Ghana currency is gaining so much strength against the US dollars, while the Nigerian money is crumbling and crashing. Peter Obi said it's because of illicit money in circulation. Who is your president? Does the world trust your president? How much confidence does investors have in your president? That is why the Naira is crashing. So guys, let me just allow you to take a look at this video and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now take a look.
Out to security issues as a retired Army Major Joe Ajayi, who was kidnapped at his residence in Odoape, Kababunu local government area of Kogi State a few weeks ago, has died in the kidnapper's den despite payment of 10 million naira ransom for his release. It was gathered that the initial demands of 50 million naira ransom by his abductors lingered for long. When the family could not pay, this resulted in his health deteriorating as he had no means of getting his medication. The kidnappers informed the family that their plea for his medication to be forwarded to him would come at an extra cost, which the family could not meet. However, as soon as the abductors discovered that Ajayi could not survive his ordeal, they reduced the ransom to 10 million naira. A source in the community said that the Ajayi family, believing he was still alive, quickly agreed to pay the 10 million naira for his rescue. I quote, "Once the ransom was paid, the kidnappers directed the family to where they would find him, only for them to meet that's Ajayi's lifeless body," end of quote. The retired army officer's remains have been deposited at the morgue of the Kaba Specialist Hospital. May his soul rest in peace, and we do commiserate with his family, friends, and loved ones on such a tragic and traumatizing, needless loss of life.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vimbai. We definitely echo our condolences. I think the circumstances of the general's death it's regrettable, unfortunately, and I think that this also sparks a lot of protests about how best to deal with situations like kidnapping and banditry. On the one hand, you can understand and sympathize with families who find themselves in this position if they're given information not to negotiate with terrorists, not to pay ransoms, and to rely on security services. It puts them in a bind because they feel as though if they comply and are able to rustle up some money, then surely their loved one would be returned. And that is the situation in this case. They were able to come up with a fraction of what the demanded ransom was. And unfortunately, they were only met with the corpse of their loved one once they did so. So I think that this underscores the ever-growing issue with insecurity in this country. And we talk about insecurity in different regions across Nigeria often. And I think because we speak about it so often, it might not hit home as hard as it should. But seeing these scenes of people wailing, people in tears, because they are also victims of the insecurity that we're seeing in this country, it is heartbreaking and devastating. So yes, I really echo our condolences to their families.
By kidnappers. Well, Nigeria, as we always say on this program, happened to him. And it is most unfortunate, it is tragic, because nobody deserves to die. The right to life is a sacrosanct right. The right to the dignity of the human person is a constitutional right. There should be no reason whatsoever why any Nigerian, whether a retired army major or a child or an ordinary person, should be kidnapped and killed by bandits. It speaks to failure on the part of government to fulfill its obligations under the Constitution, Section 15, Section 14, Sub 2 of the 1999 Constitution, which is to ensure the security and welfare of every one of us living within this territory called Nigeria. Where anybody dies, except through judicial means, having committed a crime, that in itself is abominable. Or what is that phrase that Elon Musk used? That in itself is a disgusting abomination and should not be encouraged. And it's just another reminder, the plight of retired Army Major Ajayi to President Tinubu and the administration, that the task of making this environment secure is an unfinished task, and it's a task to which the administration should rededicate itself.
Any country, those in government are richer than those in business, is producing poverty. Because a simple definition of money is that it's the exchange of value. So when people are corrupt and stealing money, they're not giving any value back. So they are producing poverty. So we must use our money to purchase value. That is what we are lacking now. And that is why you have people say to me, oh, you said you're going to regularize or devalue the currency or do this. I say, well, listen, in an organized manner. Because if you remove the illicit money and the criminal money around, you will be able to get the value at the right space. But because everybody is stealing, pursuing the same dollar, nobody knows the rate. If I have stolen 1 million naira and I go to buy dollar, will I think about the rate? No. Because for me, it's still part of the stealing that I have. So give me any exchange. But if I'm going to exchange value, I'll ask, if I buy dollar this, will I be able to turn it around? But you have huge illicit money pursuing the dollar. So the rate is irrelevant. And that is what we want to dismantle so that it will work. They remove fuel subsidy. They say, oh, Peter, I will remove it. But I said consistently that I first remove the criminality in the subsidy. Because if you remove the criminality, today fuel would have between 500, 600, and dollar have no reason to be above 1,000. And from there, when you start production, it start coming down. It's a simple thing. It has happened in Angola. It has happened in Angola. It's actually happening in Ghana now. If you follow Ghana, by December, their money was 14 plus something to the dollar. Today it's about 10 something. Because they're now beginning to see a transparent government. That's how exchange is. It's confidence. But when you have illicit money, stolen money, chasing it, it will not work. And that's what we want to dismantle. So I thank all of you for being part of Ike's book. This is not me. I haven't written any book because by the time I write my own, I would have finished all this and start telling people how we go from Abuja to Kafanchan to this. Because all these people are not moving around. We now have a system that is totally unproductive. I was telling somebody in a car, we were driving to Kafanchan. I said, to tell you how, whether this country is producing anything or not, let's mark the number of trailers we pass on the road. Ask Tanko them. We didn't pass any trailer. I said, so, you don't have rail. The trailers are not passing carrying goods. That shows an unproductive country. Because every other country, you see trucks carrying goods. But we didn't meet trucks carrying goods. We didn't see rail carrying goods.
So guys, you have seen it for yourself. It is really, really so sad that we are here as a country, talking about what is happening in Nigeria. Can you imagine somebody who has served this country? And the worst part is that some of these military men who have retired, they will come out to tell you that they are not even being well taken care of. Their pension is always entering voicemail, They are not being well issued. If you are not a politician in this country, if you are not a politician, if you want to eat, can you imagine that a governor who has left office for years is still getting his pension, getting his new cars, getting his aid, getting his medical trip abroad? You are getting all those allowances even if you have left the office for a very long time. This is where the money they are borrowing. That's why Tinubu has borrowed more than Buhari borrowed for 8 years. Tinubu 2 years borrowed more than Buhari. Buhari left 77 trillion naira debt. Tinubu has increased it to 184 trillion naira debt. Where is the money? Tinubu is getting pension as an ex-governor. Tinubu is getting pension as an ex-senator. Tinubu's wife is getting pension as an ex-senator. They are now in Asorock eating the real money. Tell me why the money will be enough. Tell me why we won't keep borrowing. Akpabio, ex-governor, getting pension. Possibly as an ex-minister, getting pension. Umai, ex-governor, getting pension. As current minister, you know what his wages will be. And go there, you see all of them that have served in one place or the other. They don't want to retire. They find their places, in their way to the National Assembly so that they continue to milk Nigeria. This country will move nowhere with this kind of system in place. It will go nowhere. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.